and welcome to the Not So Ancient Chinese Secret Show, where we like to laugh, learn, and love. And today, we're going to be talking about the iPhone X, as well as I've got this idea. Hey man, if you make gimbals, or if you pretend to make gimbals, or if you know somebody who makes gimbals, you should tell them to make this, okay? And this is my gimbal idea, so we'll get this out of the way first. Oh yeah, and for those of you who are watching on the rebroadcast, I'm going to add an index in the description or in the comments so you can click around and jump around, because my brain's on caffeine right now, and so I might skip around just a little bit today. Okay, but anyways, the idea for gimbal manufacturers, listen up, is this. Okay, remember I did this thing on gimbal hacking, and I've got links in the description as well, but the thing is I hated about iPhone and smartphone gimbals was there's two things you're going to run out of before you run out of your gimbal juice, is your phone juice and your phone memory, right? But the new iPhone 8, the 8 Plus, as well as the iPhone X all have wireless charging on the Qi charging, wireless Qi charging. Oh, I got to get rid of this. Okay, let's go to the main screen here. Main, clean. Now, Qi charging means that these gimbal manufacturers could make a gimbal where the phone is mounted against a charger. Because I did buy some iPhone gimbals, and it wasn't the gimbal that I had a problem with. I had a problem with my phone running out of juice and running out of memory. And so that is definitely something that you can do for a premium line gimbal that you would sell a lot of, because Qi charging, since iPhone is throwing its support behind it, will be the standard for the coming years for Android as well as now iPhone users. So thank you so much for doing that. Please, Fiotech or Zayun Crane, if you are listening, I would love for you to make a high-end premium, smartphone gimbal with Qi charging built in, so we don't have to run out of batteries. And you're gonna think, Dave, we still have the problem of memory. And I have links in below for this little RAV power thingy that is not only a USB memory card, 64 gigabytes, but also has a lightning port. And the lightning port will allow you to offload the memory on your iPhone to any SD card, which means I could record on my phone and then dump it onto the RAV power and then keep on recording on my phone, empty it out. So that is another way to get around that problem. And so I really feel that if gimbal manufacturers could create a way for smartphone users to use their smartphone more than just, plugging up the port side and, you can't even charge it when you're putting them on the gimbal, that would go a long way for people to get more use out of their phones and buy a lot more gimbals. All right, okay, now let's move on and discuss the iPhone X. I'm a little bit behind. And just a second, I need to say something. Hello, Gabo. Good to have you here. And thank you so much for the coffee. We just got it in last week. It is delicious. Thank you so much. All the way from Colombia. Thank you, man. Love you guys. Okay, but here's about the iPhone X. Let's talk about this first, okay? iPhone X, iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus. Okay, I'm not so interested in the 8 and the 8 Plus, but that's because I'm weird. But people are going to say, yeah, that's so much money, man, $1,000, $1,500. But then we got to really think about what they're trying to do. Miguel, hello, Peru. I'm so distracted because I miss all my friends. Damon, good to have you here. Sorry, I've been out of the loop. I haven't been on Facebook at all. Dude, good to have you here. Anyways, okay, so here's the thing about the iPhone. I got to get my notes here because I did want to be coherent for you alls. So the iPhone, people say it's $1,000 at $1,500, and that is one of my biggest pet peeves, is the pricing of these things, obviously, because they're not inexpensive. But we got to think about what exactly is a smartphone. It's no longer just a phone, right? Like, this thing in our hand does so much more. And because I'm a media geek and I'm into video as well as photography, these little guys are amazing. And no, they're not going to be better than best of class video camera and things like that, but are they good enough? Are they good enough for everyday use that they replace your point and shoot camera? Are they good enough for everyday carry that they replace your video camera? Are they good enough, for all these things? And so even GoPro, right? I love my little GoPro, but the iPhone 8 8 Plus, even starting from the 7, are water resistant, so they can take a Dunkin', right? And so that's amazing that we can use this technology that was just a phone before, and it becomes our daily capture device for video and stills, right? So to me, this is much more than a smartphone. This is going to be my media device as well, because this is how we consume things. And you know what? I couldn't justify it if I was just a consumer of media, right? So if I'm just browsing the web or chatting on Facebook, then it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend $1,000 or $1,500 Canadian for the top of the line iPhone right now, okay? But if you are a creative and this is your capture device, this starts to make a lot of sense. Because all of a sudden, the camera on the iPhone X is dual stabilized, right? And it's got the power to zoom optically. And you've got a front-facing camera for selfies. And. And so this is actually going to be better than my 3-year-old point and shoot. And if I was thinking of replacing my favorite point and shoot, which I've got links down below, the Sony RX100 Mark III, then I would be spending another $800 on a dedicated camera. And I believe I had a discussion with a friend who knows a lot of camera manufacturers, and the camera manufacturers have not been releasing updates to cameras so quickly because guess what? Sales are down. Why are sales down? Because the smartphone makers are eating their lunch, right? And so these cameras are getting exceptional. And to be honest, I was really disappointed in seeing what they're doing with that portrait mode because I thought it looked really horrible. But you know what? They're only going to get better. And to figure out how to model the face and figure out how to fake light portrait stuff, that's pretty cool what they're doing in the computer, but it's only going to get better from here on out. And so quite impressive that they're pushing this far into the technology side, right? And I really do love also the augmented reality stuff too, because it's going to be very interesting to see how developers take this and run with it, because I actually am a believer that Tim Cook is correct, that augmented reality will be bigger than virtual reality. And I think taking us out of the physical world that we're in is a little bit weird, but I think it's much easier for us to put stuff from the imagination into our physical world in augmented reality. So anyways, very interesting times. And anyways, that's one of the reasons why I think that the iPhone X and the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are exceptional ideas. And anyways, there's a couple of links that I have, and a couple of wish lists. Obviously the price. It's not going to be the best price for everybody, but again, what is it replacing, and what is it good enough to replace for your everyday carry? And time will tell to see how well they've executed on all that they've promised. And I'm not even talking about face recognition and all that stuff, but even just the camera, even just the way that, but the biggest question I have is durability, because this is my current phone and has been for 5 years. So for 5 years, I've been using the iPhone 5. It is shocking to me that this device actually still works, and it works quite well. This is literally a practice in patience for me when I'm at the store trying to get up app and showing them, even yesterday it was a scene card when I was going shopping, right? So it takes a while longer to run apps and things like that, but it's amazing that a 5-year-old smartphone can still run, can still browse, can still do what I need it to do. Now, if I added the capability of, movies and stills and much more memory, would that be worth it for me to purchase something like the iPhone X? I think so, but with one caveat, and here's the recommendation. The one caveat is that the new iPhone X is as durable as this old one, right? And so essentially, I would want to get 3, 4, 5 years out of my next device as well. And so the one thing I'm worried about is that it's glass front and back. And so you've got that curved glass, one drop, and I'm sure that thing's toast. No matter how strong you make glass, 50% stronger than last year's glass, ain't going to win against stone and tile, right? And so I think that that's the one thing I want to make sure that it is robust, but we'll see how it goes. And last thing, big recommendation for anybody thinking about the iPhones, don't even think about the 64 gigabyte models, because at 4K, and the iPhone X especially is capable of 4K video at 60 frames a second. That will eat up 64 gigabytes so fast you can't even record anything. So it makes it really useless to buy this 64 gigabyte model. That's going to be if you're going to do video. And if you say to yourself, oh, I'm not going to do video, well, even if you kind of press video by accident, it's going to use up all your memory. And so just go for the 256 gigabyte model. And again, amortize this over the years of use. And I'm not an abuser of my gear, I'm a user of my gear. And so I'm hoping that I can get many more years out of this. But would love to hear your thoughts in the comments in the rebroadcast as well. And tomorrow I will be back, and I'm going to have part 2 of our little parenting episode of my son and his theory exams and their piano exams, because we just got the results in. And so that was hilarious because that was yesterday. And so we'll have a little bit of update on that. And as a precursor to that, I will share the thought of the day. Be great at the things that take no talent. This is my life. I don't consider myself very talented. And I think what we can always encourage our kids to do is work hard, right? And we were watching a Tim Tebow on Right Now Media, and he was saying, love God, love people. And what I've added to that, and what I've shared with you guys before in previous episodes, is love God, love people, work hard to do good work. And we can always work hard, and that's one thing that I think my parents have taught me in my life, is just to continue to push and continue to work hard and do our very best. Anyways, that's all I got today, guys. And so hope you guys enjoyed that. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Again, we're going to have an index in the rebroadcast as well in the description. So cheers, over and out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless. Mwah.